What's up, everyone? I'm Jason C, and today on the #Drum, we are reviewing the newest blend from the innovative Bardstown Bourbon Company from Bardstown in their Discovery Series lineup. Now, we will also be doing a blind tasting of all 3 Discovery Series to discover which is my favorite. See what I did there? So let's get a closer look at Discovery Series from Bardstown Bourbon Company here on the #Drum. So back in June of 2019, the Bardstown Bourbon Company announced the release of their new Discovery Series #1, which was a unique blend of 4 Kentucky straight bourbons aged between 5 and 13 years old. Now, Discovery Series is the result of a collaboration of Bardstown Bourbon Company's distilling, beverage, and culinary teams working together to create a complex and unique whiskey. Bardstown Bourbon Company's expert team blind tasted more than 30 blends of some of the finest Kentucky bourbons to arrive at the final expression, which went on to become an impressive blend for the first in the Discovery Series #1, which I have here, which ended up being one of my favorites from 2019, and it just got better with Discovery Series #2. Led by Master Distiller Steve Nally, a 40-year veteran of the spirits industry, Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame member, and former Master Distiller at Maker's Mark, he said, "We've produced a blend that can rival any product on the market. The final result is truly greater than the sum of its parts. We've taken 4 great Kentucky bourbons and crafted them into one spectacular bottle." Now, aside from blending, Bardstown Bourbon Company currently produces nearly 40 different mash bills for some of the finest whiskey and bourbon brands in the world and one of the most technologically advanced distilleries in the country. In addition to distilling, this company quickly developed one of the best beverage and culinary teams in Kentucky with the opening of its in-house restaurant, Bottled and Bond Kitchen and Bar. I gotta tell you, every time I'm in Bardstown, I have to go, even if I've been to Bardstown Bourbon Company many times, but I love to go there just to have lunch. I love the place. I'm a huge fan of their shrimp and grits. Stellar stuff. Get that with a little bit of a dusty bourbon on the side. Last time I was there, I had an Old Taylor with some shrimp and grits. I mean, doesn't really get too much better than that. So, Discovery Series 1 was bottled at 121.21 proof with a suggested retail price of $130. Now, one of the great things about Bardstown Bourbon Company is the transparency. They tell you exactly what's in the bottle, how old it is, even the mash bill. Bardstown Discovery Series 1 was a blend of 4 different Kentucky bourbons. It tells you right here on the side it was 5% of a 13-year, 75% of an 11-year, 7-month, 10% of a 10-year, and 10% of a 5-year. So a good mixing of younger and older bourbons to kind of complement each other, so you have some spice, but you also have some deep and rich flavors as well. Now, if you're going by what we know a little bit about mash bills and what distilleries that they belong to, 74, 18, and 8 is attributed usually to Barton, which is the makers of 1792 bourbon, so you have that nice high rye spice. You have the 78, 10, and 12, which is Heaven Hill, and then you have the 75, 13, and 12, which is, Wild Turkey. So you have some really beautiful and very well-known brands of distillate and aged bourbons that's in this bottle. Now, Discovery Series 2 was bottled at 122.2 proof, also with that $130 price tag. This is my second bottle. I absolutely loved this bourbon. This was one of my favorites, and again, the transparency on this bottle, 44% 10-year, 39% 12-year, 17% 14-year. Again, if you're going by mash bills, this is a blend of Turkey, Barton, and Heaven Hill as well. Now, the third and the newest in the series was one I was excited to try because this is the first year now we have NGP in the blend. So this has a 45% Indiana 13-year-old bourbon in here, which is MGP from Indiana, and that's a high rye at 21%. Then you have a 32% 13-year and a 23% 10-year. So again, really great transparency from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So let's dive into the 3. Woo! All right. I love these blends. They're so good. I know the $130 price tag could be a little bit much for people, but again, you are getting some older whiskey in there. So let's try the number 3 here. Wow, first thing right jumping out of the glass to me is a lot of apple and a lot of pear. Really, really strong here. Cinnamon as well. You definitely get a nice punch of citrus here because of that MGP. Now remember, it's mostly MGP in here. It's 45% MGP. So you definitely get that high rye, that high citrus spice in there. A little bit of nutmeg. You know, your wonderful caramels, vanillas. Really good oak presence here too. I'm getting a lot of leather on the nose too. There's a very rich leather note, like a fresh, like you ever walk into an area of a store where they're selling leather jackets. There's a lot of leather on here. Yeah, it's a mix. You could really kind of smell the age, and also you couple that with the bright fruits, the caramels, vanillas, that citrus spice from the MGP in there. Really great on the nose. So far I'm pretty excited. So here we go. Let's try it, guys. Cheers. Wow. Just a ton of vanilla and citrus spice. The MGP spice really takes over on this, and I love it. So this is only 110 proof, but it's, well, first sip, it's drinking a little hotter than 110. And that's always the thing. When I say that, when I do blind tastings, sometimes it's hard to discern proof over just the spiciness of a certain whiskey. You're not sure if the proof is coming through or if it's the actual mash bill that's making it seem spicier and higher proof than it is. Let's go for another sip. Yeah, I think on this one, it's that high rye that's in there. I mean, I would guess that this is higher than 110 proof. Honestly, it's drinking a little bit hotter than that. But at the same time, the amount of flavor that's in here, there's a lot of oak tannins, a lot of that oak spice that's in here that's really affecting the palate. Also that citrus and that high rye spice, I think, from the MGP. Remember, you also have some, supposedly some 13% of maybe a possible wild turkey whiskey in there as well. So it just has like that unique spiciness that you get from those well-known distilleries. Another sip. This has a long finish. It's a tad bit drying on the back end. I think that spiciness really dries out the palate a little bit. But again, you're left with like this orange creamsicle laced with apple, pear, caramel, vanilla. It definitely takes you on a little bit of a ride. I'm a huge fan of this one. This is really good. I don't think a lot of people would like the high spice on this. If you're used to drinking Buffalo Trace or something with a, easier or smoother profile. This one, I don't know if this one would do it for you. This one really hangs on. Not only does it give you those really nice aged notes with the leather and the oak tannins and the rich, deep, dark vanillas and caramels, but balance that out with the spiciness, with the orange and the apple and the pear. It's a beautiful blend, really nice balance. It's another indication of how good Bardstown Bourbon Company is at blending. Okay, let's go for one last sip, and then we're gonna do a quick blind tasting against the first two to see which one is my favorite. Here we go. Okay, so the more you sip this, the more your palate gets used to it. It starts drinking like 110 proof. You still have the spice. You still have the oak. You still have those leather notes. It's really rich. Again, it's got that prickliness to it. You really feel it on your tongue and then the back of your palate. Just lingers on and on. It's a very long finish again. For 110 proof bourbon, this drinks like, it's a bit of a higher proof, but again, that's from that spiciness. Huge fan of this one. This may eke its way into my, I don't know, that might get up there into my top 10, maybe top 5 this year. This is a really, really good blend, but let's test it against number 1 and number 2 here. Number 2, I absolutely loved. Let's see how it does. All right, so I have all 3 poured. Let's mix them up a little bit here. All right, let's run through the nose on all 3 of them first here. Let's see what we get. All right, so I'm getting, again, ton of caramel, ton of vanilla on the nose here. A lot of citrus. It's always fun doing these blind because you wonder now that I just poured and mixed them up, am I gonna be able to find the 3 which we just tasted? But I feel like there is definitely that leather note that's in here that I was finding in the 3. All right, let's go to 2 here. All right, so this one's a little bit more on the cherry side. I feel like I could smell a little bit of youth in that one as well. Some younger whiskey. This one just doesn't seem to be as rounded and rich as this one was as number one. Number two is coming off definitely caramels and vanillas, but it's not, it's definitely, there's a hint of youthfulness in there that I could smell. All right, let's go to number three here. Wow, this last one I think on the nose is my favorite. This is just cinnamon, maple syrup, a little bit of a fried dough aspect. There's a certain nuttiness to it as well. Getting some chocolate. That one's really good. I think as far as nose goes, I have to give it to the last one here. That one easily has the best nose out of all three, for what I like. All right, let's go back to number one. Let's try it. Here we go. Again, I'm getting that leather, that spice. This thing just lingers on and on. That might be the three that we just tried. Man, that is just coming through. That is a spicy meatball. Woo! Like I said, I like it. I like that long, spicy finish. It just kind of, this is one of those bourbons you could just kind of sit, relax, and sip on all night. You're not going to go through it super fast because of that spiciness and how much it lingers around. There, again, I'm getting the apple in that. I'm getting definitely the, was it like that leather note? The thing that makes this one is that mix of like apple, citrus, and I'm getting a little hint of a cherry pop too on the back end of that one. I really like that one a lot. All right, let's go to number two here. All right, so number two, it's a lot brighter. There is some age in there too, but you could definitely, again, I think there's some youthful bourbon in that blend. Another sip. Yeah, there's a bitterness to this one that I'm just not digging. And this one's drinking hot. This has a high proof. I would guess that has to be, yeah, that's got to be up there with proof because it's not spicy. This is just pure alcohol, ethanol. There's kind of a honey and peanut note in there as well that I'm getting. But yeah, when you compare it to the first one here, I'm more on board for the first one than the one in the middle than number two here. Let's go to the last one, see what we get. Cheers. Now this one is the one that I love the nose more than anything, so here we go. This one, I'm getting the chocolate that I got on the nose here. Bright fruits. Again, I'm getting that apple note in this one as well. A little bit of like a Granny Smith, the fried dough aspect, the powdered sugar. This one on the palate's really damn good. There's like a brown sugar, coated peanut type thing going on in this one that I'm absolutely loving. Again, when you're coming off different, bourbons and whiskeys, you can pick up some different flavors here. This one's really kind of bringing it here. Again, this one is a little bit more drying on the back end as well, though. All right, so let's run with these. So I think easily the middle one, number two, I'm gonna put last. And I mean, really, it's just between the nose on number three was my favorite. Yeah, I think the first one I tried, I'm gonna stay number one. And the third one is gonna slide into second place. So let's see which one was my favorite. Last place. Not surprising. Well, kind of surprised, but not super surprised. Which one is it here? Discovery Series number one. All right, so Discovery Series number one was my last place. That makes sense because there is some younger bourbon in here. So again, I did pick up a little bit on that youth that's in here. I mean, again, this is a very impressive whiskey when it came out from Bardstown Bourbon Company, but yeah, there was something compared to these two that was just lacking a little bit. Now we're gonna get into the good stuff here. Holy crap, you serious? What? Oh, my voice went really high there. What? Yeah, exactly. I guess I have a new favorite, guys. It's the number three, with the number two coming in second. Now, number two has been one of my favorites forever, but I'm telling you, this new one, this Discovery Series number three with that high MGP content in there. If you guys are a fan of MGP and you like that in your blends or just like MGP bourbons in general, you're gonna absolutely love Discovery Series number three. All right, guys, let's go to the final breakdown. So price for this retails 130 bucks. You don't really see these too much on secondary. They are on there, but not usually too much past secondary. I think I've seen this one for about 200 on secondary. The ones that really get up in price are the finished collaborations that Bardstown Bourbon Company does, like the Chateau de la Baude, which is still one of my favorite bourbons that I had this year. That is going up upwards of $400, $450, which is just nuts. But those are the prices that people are commanding for anything NGP that's finished. As far as availability, they're not available in all 50 states just yet, but they are increasing their availability as time goes on. I'll leave the states, kind of below so you guys can see exactly where they're available as of today. So value for this, I think, is even. You got $130. Remember, you have two 13-year bourbons in here, including an NGP, which, like I said, prices for anything NGP these days are through the roof. You also got a 10-year-old bourbon in there, so melded together. You have some higher-aged whiskeys in there for 130 bucks. It's not a bad price in today's market. Now, what's the most I would pay? Probably 130, maybe 150 if I was really looking for one. But again, you have to like NGP and that spice and not that super smooth finish that some people are really into. Now, do I recommend? Absolutely, but you have to like a long, spicy finish when it comes to a bourbon. If you're into, if you drink Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, lower proof stuff, 80 proof stuff with a very, not much of a long finish, you don't really like to really feel anything when it's going down, then you are not gonna like this. This is for bourbon drinkers out there that really like a spicy finish, something that's long, that's lingering, has some age to it, a little bit of a leather profile, but again, mixed with those apple pear notes. It's a stellar blend. I love the fact they included some NGP in here. I think it kind of brings this one to another level, and this one will definitely be in the running for one of my favorites this year, I think. All right, guys, well, hope you enjoyed this review for the new Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series number 3. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the subscribe button below. Please hit that like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter. Let me know what you think of this one. If you've had it, if you've compared it to the other two, like I just did, let me know what your favorite is. I think the number 2 was still pretty close, but I think that spicy finish for me is what kind of won me over on this one. So with that, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Cheers, and I'll see you next time on The Mash and Drum. Stay safe, everybody. Cheers.